As the truce between Israel and Gaza has come to an end, the US has called for moderation in both sides. Mark Stone filed this update from Washington.
American influence, again, is not as President Biden would hope that it was. It is clear that the Israelis are going to push south, are going to bomb areas in the south that they believe are legitimate targets. I think there are two distinct focuses to look at tonight. One is the humanitarian aid that is getting in. Now, remember that before the truce, so during that 7-week period or so where the fighting was ongoing, the aid into Gaza was about 3% of pre-war levels. So at a time when aid is most needed during a war, only 3% of the amount of aid that was getting in before the war was getting in. During that truce, it went up to about 40%. Now it has gone down, as of today, back down to 3%. Now, the White House said today that they hope that it will go up again, that it will go up maybe to the period, the amount that it was in before the war. But there's no sign of that happening. The Israelis who I've been speaking to today, the officials here in Washington at the embassy, don't seem to suggest that it would go up. So an acute shortage of aid, an acute need for those people who are on the ground. The other issue is, where do they go? It has been clear throughout this conflict that they do not have anywhere safe to go. Of course, they cannot leave Gaza. The south, Khan Yunis, Rafah, is where they're told to go. But then when the Israelis say they find terrorists in those areas, they then say those areas become legitimate targets and they strike them. Now, today, this grid system has been announced. But again, in a practical sense, it's very hard to know how that's going to work. I mean, remember that the internet is turned on and off. A QR code is pretty useless if you haven't got any internet. That said, the internet does seem to be on at the moment. I spoke to someone there just an hour or so ago. But that grid system just allows people to move from one 100-meter square block to another 100-meter square block. It is extremely hard to see how people are able to survive, able to move, if Israel does to the south what it has already done to the north.